On this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we have a teacher that starts spring break early. We talk about Tiger Woods and special guest Tim Jones from Moonshiners Whiskey Business. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's two guys' take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Nuckle studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. And, of course, I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you as always, but before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I am talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, 2016's honorable mention Masters Champion of the World, the inventor of the redneck egg roll. Give it up on old mic number one, it's Mojo!
Hello, everyone. This is Mojo, and like you said, you're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You go to our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can actually hit the listen button there and listen live at work. Or not live, but recorded it.
Sure.
But you can listen at work on your computer.
At work. Yeah, there you go.
You can also go to our Facebook page at Southern Fried Philosophy, our Twitters and Instagram at SFP Radio, YouTube.com/SFP Radio.
There you go.
Man, I know I was going to forget something today. And you can also, our favorite way to connect is our Apple, go to iTunes.
iTunes.
I got the Apple CarPlay thing stuck in my head right now.
Oh, there you go.
iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much any podcast player you have out there, you can go there, search Southern Fried Philosophy. Make sure you hit the old subscribe or the heart. That way you can kind of get our episodes when they upload on the Mondays. And just listen there, share your favorite episodes, subscribe, give us a like, give us a review. That's how we move up. That's how people find out about us, is by the old tricking the old algorithms to take a listen to us.
Yep. Ding. It shows up on your like little whatever you're looking at, and then that would be awesome that they would become a new listener. Speaking of a new listener, we'd like to give a shout out to Broomfield, Colorado, Birmingham, Alabama, the home of Rick and Bubba, and Warrensburg, Missouri. What up, y'all?
Thanks for listening. Yeah, we appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah. Hey, as we mentioned before, if you go to the southernfriedphilosophy.com website, there'll be a little button that you can click. That's our Patreon link. You can check that out, click on that, and you can become part of the SFP family. If you would like to start with a $5 donation, that will be the life tier. That would be awesome. If you want to, that way you get like a bumper sticker. If you want a hat, that's a $10 of the month, and that's the Liberty tier. And then the gravy tier will give you a t-shirt. We'd love for you guys to be a part of the family. That would be fantastic. Upcoming, our guest is Patrick Lilly. He's had his song on our show for a couple of weeks, and so he will be in studio playing a little ditty for us, and we'll get to know him. And if you yourself would like to be in the studio, shoot us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com, and you yourself can be sitting in the the Bad Mother Smokers smoking hot seats. You can come have a water with us, a hug, or Joe Biden creepy dance, whatever you want it to be, and hang out with us. So that would be awesome.
That issue sure died, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I wonder why. I wonder why.
We could speculate.
There are conspiracy theories out there, I am sure.
I love conspiracy theories.
I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. Mojo, how you be doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Just got back from Cincinnati. That was a haul.
Did you listen to WKRP in Cincinnati?
I did not, because I was there. I was not there long enough to even find a station. So,
do you remember that show?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
it was great.
The
turkey drop for Thanksgiving is probably one of the greatest ever.
Oh, so. Les Nessman.
Yeah,
it's God is my witness.
Live reporting there from the turkey drop. Yeah. So just got back from Cincinnati, and I think it's a consensus. I did my own poll of one, and no one knows how to drive.
Okay.
There you go. It's in. It's out. Also, the roads.
Breaking news.
I've determined this, that your tax dollars are not being efficiently used on the roads.
In Cincinnati?
Anywhere.
Okay. Well, yeah.
All right. So, clear. Leaving here in North Carolina, from the Charlotte area, I have to travel through North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and Ohio.
Oh, you're going that way?
Yeah.
All the way around?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the shortest way.
Is it?
Allegedly.
Huh.
So, there's Consensus, the state roads all just suck.
Yeah.
So great job with the not filling of potholes, and great job of, my favorite part is the West Virginia.
Okay.
I actually like West Virginia. I know it's a bunch of backwoods hillbillies, but I love my hillbillies.
Next to Kentucky, I got you.
But there's this little highway, I think it's 35, between Charleston and near Columbus. I think it's 35. Okay. I broke down on it, so I should know it.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
this week, this last
no, that's when I blew my transmission in December.
All right.
So anyway, so on this road, it's a decent road actually. They're trying to expand it. Anyway, on this road, there's actually signs that say dip and bump. Yep. Instead of actually fixing the dip and fixing the bump, they just label them. That way, that if you have
that's a good point.
Yeah, that way if you have a couple $100,000 on cargo in your trailer, it's going to could be affected. So so shout out to the West Virginia DOT for at least labeling. I mean, they gave you the courtesy of saying, hey, we suck here at designing roads and paving them. So anyway, so you had a good time. I drove to Cincinnati, basically pulled in, loaded a bike, jetted back out.
Wow. But how long is that trip?
It's about from Charlotte area. It's about 7 hours.
Hey, buddy,
it's not bad. Wow. Not bad. But there's a little casino in West Virginia that I like to partake in. It's so small, actually good. I won 600. So that's not bad.
Daggum, son.
I love me some casino play.
Listen, that freaks me out.
Really?
I went in one time and I had $200. I left with $220, and I thought I was like Hugh Hefner. I was like, if I could
be a professional gambler, I would do it in a heartbeat.
I look at you every week, and I look at your stone cold poker face, and I don't know if you love me or hate me, because you would be great at poker. Because I can't tell.
I suck at poker. I suck at it. I mean, I shouldn't say I suck, but there's a lot. There's people out there that have a larger bankroll than I do.
Sure,
that can basically buy hands, and I don't like that. I like My game is craps.
Okay.
In life and also the game, but I like craps because it's pretty equal odds with a house.
Yeah.
It's just fun. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're betting on people. You're betting against people. I really enjoy that. So.
Yeah, you have a better gambling tolerance than I do. I'll go to the roulette and I'll do black or red, and that's as crazy as I'll get. I need to loosen up probably.
Yeah, you probably do. See, roulette is actually one of the worst games in casino.
But you got a 50-50 shot if you do black and
well, I mean that red. Yeah, but
you're not going to win a whole lot.
Yeah,
buddy.
I guess, but according to a couple betting websites, your best odds are blackjack and craps. That's your best odds.
Yeah,
basically the old one-armed bandits. The slots. Those are. You might as well just go ahead and walk up to the cashier and say, here's $200. I'm leaving. I mean, it's not a wise investment. But craps, I could. I mean, literally, the longest I've ever stayed and not lost money was probably 12 hours.
Wow.
So and that's my form of entertainment. I don't do the old Xbox. I don't do the old PlayStation. I don't. There'll be rare times I binge watch something on Netflix or Hulu or illegally pirating something. So. That's just not my thing. But anytime I get an opportunity to go to a casino, I mean, and I have my limits. I start out, I take $200 out because, they always say don't bet anything you can't afford to lose.
That's a PSA right there.
Exactly. Because casinos are not built on donations. So, or at least, government donations are, they're built on donations, not willingly sometimes.
Right.
But, I take $200 if I crap out, then literally, then I'm gone. If I could stretch it out for a few hours of fun, which I consider fun. I mean, some people love to skydive, some people love to canoe, some people love to run. I mean, I like the game.
There you go. I think the introvert of me just gets freaked out by all the lights and noises. I'm just like, I just want to go to my little hotel room and just be quiet.
Well, that's a good thing about craps. So you're standing at a table one-on-one, with you again on this table.
Yeah.
And it looks very,
I think that's the thing is I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, but I taught myself, and I shouldn't say that. In Vegas, probably in 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I had I went to this really seedy looking casino before they tore it down, and I had some people teach me. The dealers actually taught me. I was basically the only person there playing. They taught me how to play, and I think I walked away with $80 that day.
Nice.
And I wouldn't say I'm hooked because, I live 4 hours away from this casino. So I'm not driving through every day.
Sure.
Or multiple times a month. I mean, if I'm happen to be in the area, I'll stop. But I don't know. I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, some people love going to museums. I like a challenge. That's my personality is built on chaos and challenge. I love a challenge.
Well, next time I'm going to give you $200 and say, bring me back 6.
It's probably better than our investment that we did in Bitcoin.
Oh, you're not lying on that.
So how you doing?
I'm good. I Sunday was able to flip on the old Masters. I know we're going to talk about Tiger here in a little bit, but is there anything better than a Sunday afternoon Masters, golf, whatever's on TV? The wind is just cool enough where you can leave the doors open and you get on the couch and you're out in like 5 minutes. Jim Nance is talking in his calm, cool.
We should probably do a whole podcast in Jim Nance voice.
Remember when you did the Sleep Whisper podcast?
ASMR,
Yeah. That was
but
the best nap ever.
The Masters, man. I don't care if you're a golf fan or not, but I mean, a lot of people will tune in just to watch that one game.
That one.
I mean, it's phenomenal. The course is beautiful. It has a storied history. Some jaded, some not. But I mean, it's just a great, beautiful course in Georgia. The history there alone, but just the beauty of it. I mean, that's the thing about, I think, the Masters. It brings people who like the game, love the players, but also brings people that they may not be looking at the game, but they're looking at the aesthetics of the course.
Right.
So I think it will bring in a lot of people, different types of people, I guess.
Sure, and it's similar to the Kentucky Derby. Is most people don't watch horse racing.
That's the one.
Then that's the one.
It's kind of like racing. You have the Daytona 500. Football, you have Super Bowl.
Right.
Baseball, you'll have World Series. Yep. I mean, March Madness. Every sport has their highlight.
Yep.
Their high that a lot of people who may not tune in the other games of the year that will tune in for that one or that series leading up to that.
But I love napping during golf. There's nothing. I
love napping during NASCAR.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Huh?
I just
like it, huh?
For some reason, if I was going to take a nap on a Saturday or Sunday, I would turn it to NASCAR.
Huh? Interesting. I never would have thought.
But golf. I mean,
you had birds chirping in the back.
The same thing with golf. I mean, it is a very for someone who is addicted to the ASMR, that would. The golf, watching golf on TV is probably very soothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. I could see with the voices, the nature sounds, maybe the light hint of the swing, or the clap from the crowd. I mean, I could see that. Yeah. So, good point. Maybe they could just do a whole Masters recap of the highlights of the noises for the ASMR listeners.
Nice. All right, so here's our Southern word of the week: annuity, a financial term. Oh, no, not here in the South. He was having some trouble getting it out, but I knew what he was trying to say.
There you go. It's kind of like me during every podcast.
All right, you get hung up on a word, but I know what you're trying to say. Yeah. Annuity.
It's like Pacific or specific.
All right, let's go into some wacky news brought to you by Webmerized. If you need a clean, crisp website, check out our friends at Webmerized.com. That is Webmerized.com. Hey, buddy, you think you're having a bad day. Here's the headline. The woman beats a man with his prosthetic leg when he wants to break up with her. New Orleans, Louisiana, a Monero, I don't know how to say that, woman used her ex-boyfriend's prosthetic leg to beat him up after a night of drinking and a breakup, authorities say. Michelle Jackson, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, was arrested on Wednesday and booked with aggravated battery after she said that her boyfriend, who they were drinking at the time, admitted that he wanted to break up with her and see another woman. The story says, fell asleep. I think it's more like he passed out, woke up with a large cut on his head and dripping blood. His ex-girlfriend was beating him in the head with his prosthetic leg.
Talking about adding insult to injury.
This is even worse. This is how inebriated she was. She said that she ran out of the house admitting that she stabbed the man. She ran to a friend's house saying that she killed him. They checked him and there was no stab wounds on him.
She beat the ever-loving snot out of this guy with his own leg.
With his own leg. I mean, pimp walk and all.
That's I can't think of many things more embarrassing than beat by your old lady with your own leg.
I mean, and the fact that she thought that she stabbed him and ran out makes me think, what did she actually stab?
I'm also actually thinking that maybe alcohol is not the only substance that she possibly could have been on.
There could have been something else going on there. Ooh, I mean, at 58 though, you think Mama would know a little bit better?
No, we've read stories before on the Wacky News segment where people were in their 60s and 70s. One last hurrah, one last mushroom trip, LSD trip.
Sure. So I think I got this one handled. Hold on, hold my beer. That didn't turn out too well.
Where was this at?
This was in Monroe, Louisiana.
It's in the South. Yeah.
It's in the South.
Yeah.
Words cannot describe how awesome Robert and his team at Webmerized are. In our time of need, Robert came through for us and devoted more time than expected to help our organization develop our new website. It truly is a blessing to have an individual that can speak to the average person not in the IT world in a manner that can easily be understood. The process of working with his team was painless, and I look forward to working with them for future projects. Our website is spectacular, and I'm really proud of what was developed by Webmerized. Thanks. Don't take Stella H's word for it, and also Southern Fried Philosophies, but go out to webmerized.com, WEBMERIZED, or check out the sponsors link on our website. And if you mention the word biggin in your order, you'll get 10% off. Check them out at webmerized.com for your web services needs.
My home state, a woman is arrested for teaching while drunk at a Kentucky middle school. She's getting ready to celebrate spring break a little bit too early. A woman is behind bars after deputies said she was teaching while drunk at a middle school. The arrest citation said that Brooke West, 32, was arrested Monday after she admitted to authorities she took 4 vodka shots around 11. The students said that she was yelling and cursing at them. She was behind the desk with her head down, put her head up, and started yelling and cussing at them. Then they ran out and told the principal that she was cussing at him. She had a blood alcohol content of 0.317.
Hey, buddy. That's more than a little drunk. That's not buddy. 4 shots.
That
of
is
vodka.
Not 4 shots.
She front loaded at the house.
She had to.
Yeah.
She said that she was arrested for alcohol intoxication, you think, in a public place and endangering the welfare of a minor. Good gracious.
Look, I know I have probably made some comments against like teachers' pay before, but I do stand with teachers drinking on the job because
that they should.
Look, I have my 2 kids, and I know after about 30 minutes, after they get home from school all wired up, you might want to have an adult beverage.
You may want to. I mean, the students were between the ages of 11 and 13.
Look, let me tell you a little story. My freshman year in high school, I had a teacher named Mr. Pageant, and I'm not sure if he's still with us or not, but anyway, Mr. Pageant was in his last year at the school. He was retiring the next year. This guy literally came in hungover every day. I don't even know how to do algebra that well because of him.
Wow.
And no one complained. Back then, snitches got stitches.
Yeah.
So no one complained about this guy. We all got an A. Moved on to Algebra 2, not knowing what we were doing. Yeah. He didn't care. He was gone. I mean,
these students handled this poorly because they could have all gotten an A in that class.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Ms. Myers, can you give me an A? It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. The thing is, I guarantee you, number one, they didn't do this because they wanted to achieve higher.
No.
Number 2, they probably regretted the decision once they got the new teacher.
Right after, yep. Oh, well, we should have had Miss Myers. She was letting it up.
Yeah. At least we got, would have had an A in Miss Myers' class. Yeah.
We could have watched the Little Labyrinth movie like the 15th time already.
Yeah. I mean, we could have YouTubed and Instagrammed all day.
I mean, 4 shots, y'all.
There's no way. There's no way it's 4 shots.
I mean, if you're going to admit to it, I mean, come out swinging. Mm-hmm. I had the half a bottle.
0.31. I mean, geez, I drank a whole 2. I mean, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, but spring break's not that far away. Could you not hold off just a little bit longer?
Maybe she was just tired of her students, their stuff. So
maybe. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have some hot topics and our special guest, Tim Jones, from the show Moonshiners. All that and more when we come back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. We'll be right back.
Well, this road of ours began a year from yesterday, and where we are seem like where we need to stay. We've been picking fights, we've been trying to choose which way to go, but either way we seem to lose. And we're miles away from where we need to be today. Whoa, baby, just give me that one last chance. Take my hand and we can see how this plays out. 'Cause right now we're miles away. The way you smile and your style has surely changed. We talk all week and now I'm lucky to get a day. And you say you quit, well that's just so sad to hear. But just give me one more try so I can shake off all that fear. I know we're miles away from where we need to be today. Whoa, baby, just give me that one last chance. Take my hand and we can see how this plays out. 'Cause right now we're miles away. And oh, baby, I need you by my side. And oh, I ain't gonna give up without a fight, yeah. Yeah, we were miles away.
All right, we are back, and you are again listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. We're going to talk about some hot topics brought to you by Watchman Cigars. If you would like a awesome cigar at a reasonable price, check out Watchman Cigars. You can check out their link on our sponsor section of our website. All right, so
Hey, I would like to mention, though,
Okay.
I highly recommend Leon's signature cigar.
yeah,
That's the one
that Cohiba, is that
Yeah.
or
That's
the cognac?
Cognac.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
man, that thing is delicious. So
It is really good.
If you had to choose, if you're on a budget, you're looking
Sure.
for cigars, and you contact Leon at Watchman Cigars, go with the signature smoke. Man,
Yeah.
it is worth every puff.
And if you are like having like a bachelor party or an event or anything, and like, hey, Leon, I want something a little bit different. Can you hook me up? He'll make you your own blend.
Yeah, he'll custom blend cigars.
Custom blend it for you. Make it all like cool and whatnot. We need to get him to make our Southern Fried stick.
I don't know how
what
you
we
would
need.
incorporate sausage gravy
Yeah,
into a
we need
cigar.
to figure that out. Chick-fil-A sauce, remember? We're going for that option.
Where's Jeremy White at right now?
All right, so speaking of, here's the shell challenge. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
Teenagers are now, instead of the Tide Pod challenge, remember the Tide Pod where they would just eat a Tide Pod?
So
Now,
this is the latest craze.
This is the latest craze that's like the Tide Pod challenge. A little less dangerous. They're just eating things with the shell on. So they would eat like a peanut and they would just eat with the shell on.
I actually do like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The saltiness of it.
Wow.
You got to try it.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think it would just crumble and get everywhere.
No. It's actually not bad. No.
What about
that I'm okay with. But like the ones, like if you're going to eat a raw egg with the shell on.
Well, let me ask this. Between you and I, if you eat just the peanut with the shell on it, what's it like coming out? I mean,
it's the same color.
But does it hurt?
No.
I feel like sharp edges and whatnot.
No, it's not like you're eating a glass bulb.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to take your word on that.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, it's like eggs. They would get eggs and eat the eggs. Anything that has like plastic, like wrapping around it.
That's
like
stupid,
a butterscotch. You know, remember the old people?
Yeah.
They just eat the whole thing. Y'all, what is wrong with you people? I know we've mentioned this multiple times on the show. Why can't we have a challenge of do the dishes?
Stay in school.
Clean your room.
Become the next NASA astronomical engineer. I don't know.
Don't smoke pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter is part of this generation. And
Sure.
I can see a lot of these. To give her credit, she's very strong, like strong-minded. She's she's going to be an amazing young woman.
Sure.
But right now, the level of sometimes like stupidity, it just astounds me. Now, granted, she is probably the smartest in the bunch of her friends.
Oh, I have no doubt about that.
Oh my goodness! Some of these kids, some of the stuff she tells me, I'm like, if I ever caught you doing that, I mean, but
that scares me to think that you would say, like, if I ever caught you doing, whatever, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Hey,
but let's just recap. I can't even think how many stupid challenges we've had.
Can we stop challenging people?
Yeah. First it was kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. The mannequin challenge.
Yeah, I got you.
And then you had the Tide Pod challenge, and then you had Kiki Do Love Me challenge. People like wrecking cars and running over people and face planting into a lamp. I mean, let's just stop these challenges. If you're going to do challenges, like do things like, clean up a park challenge or,
mow the lawn challenge,
serve a meal to an elderly person challenge. Those are things that are positive, not these stupid ones like, hey, I'm going to go naked through a mall and eat a bagel challenge. These are absurd challenges, and that'll probably be a challenge.
Yeah, that'll probably be it.
If you can, just tag SFP Radio into it at Instagram when you do that.
Trending.
Hashtag naked through a mall bagel challenge. But these challenges, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I know they're for social notoriety and likes and this and that, but God almighty.
But do you think it's part of like you want to be part of something bigger than that?
I'm sure it's that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's that. But when you disregard your own personal safety to just get a few likes, then social media has all the wrong purposes associated with it.
But how many times did we do something stupid just because we thought our friends would like it?
No, we've done stupid stuff.
Right.
But I would have never ate a Tide Pod. I would never, of course, we didn't have Tide Pods back then. I would have never drank like laundry detergent or anything. I mean,
we did like eat cayenne pepper
or cinnamon challenge.
We did that one.
Eat all the peppers out. How many peppers can you eat out of a Texas Pete pepper bottle? I mean, things like
Try to drink a gallon of milk.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, you is a temporary sickness or temporary stupidity, but you lived in infamy.
Sure.
But like things where you actually
light a fart challenge. Yeah. That was a good one.
Actually, my wife has actually witnessed that.
Yeah.
So
I've done it.
Was it, or did I witness it from my wife? I can't remember.
That would change my entire relationship with my wife if I saw that happening. I'll be honest with you.
There's a flamethrower. The only problem I would have with that is if mine came out and it was like a little spurt, like a Zippo lighter, and then my wife came out and it was like, singed your eyebrows off. That would be a problem.
Well, in our household now, we live by the rule that you've provided to us: never trust a fart. So anymore at this point, I'm too old to try to do this
I think that's wise words in any age after 35.
Sure.
Or if you're on a keto diet. So I think that's
or you just ate Mexican.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Ooh, don't get me started on Mexican.
We'll shift gears. What you wanted to talk about? Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yeah. What an amazing win.
How about it?
I don't even think it's just the win, but I do like Tiger Woods. I follow golf, maybe not like hardcore like I would Duke basketball, or, Atlanta Braves baseball, but I do follow golf, and and of course, saying this now, I'm just part of the legion of minions out there, but I have always been a Tiger Woods fan, just because somebody who has been crafted since the age of 4 to play this one sport has honed his skills. What an amazing player. My understanding, he was probably right before his accident, we'll call it accident. He was probably, younger, mid-20s, just had the world by the short hairs, and probably not a humble guy, I would imagine. And then came the infamous, his wife trying to swing a golf club at him at the time due to his improprieties with multiple women.
The Waffle House waitress, which you wonder yourself, could you not have done a little bit better?
Well, number one, I don't know if she was actually a Waffle House waitress.
Okay.
I love the Waffle House.
Sure.
But I've never seen anyone.
You've never seen a Tiger Woods stroll into a Waffle House and say,
no.
Yo,
I'm saying I've never seen. Man, I don't want to be disrespectful. You get what I'm saying.
You got it.
You get what I'm saying. But him.
I appreciate the attempt.
Exactly. But him, crashing the car, finding out he had pain pills in his body and this and that. I mean, by the way, it was told later on during the story that the pain he was experiencing from his back was so excruciating that, it was almost to the point where options to ending life were actually on the table. They were so excruciating. So, anyway, segue to pain, never judge another person's pain because, each and every one's person's pain level is totally different. So,
right.
But, no, just, so this guy was just given in the crap end of a stick. I mean,
or a golf club.
Exactly. How many sponsors did he lose after the infamous arrest? I mean, he lost Buick, grandma's car sponsor. He lost them. He lost Rolex, the top end, icon of watches. He lost, so many sponsors. The only really true sponsor that stuck with him was Nike. And for many years he took off, and then he tried to make a comeback. And, subpar, very subpar. Now, that's not a golf pun, but very subpar. And anyway, he comes back 2019, wins the Masters, and just absolutely amazing. Nike has, the biggest windfall of Nike. Oh, my goodness. The Tiger Woods apparel, that they are just frolicking in the dollar bills right now, y'all. So, but no, Tiger Woods brand, and here's the reason why I'm excited, because Tiger Woods is great for golf.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
How many kids started golf 15 years ago due to this guy, and played golf through this guy? It is great for the sport.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, 100%.
So you go get it. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, but, also there was an interview with his caddy, Joe LaCava, I believe is his name. And this caddy came on board right during the downward spiral of Tiger. And right after all the scandals hit, especially the last one with the pain pills and wrecking his car into a tree, Tiger had a conversation with Joe, and he told Joe that, for his best interest in career, it'd probably be best to go ahead and move on to someone else, because, Tiger thought Tiger was pretty much sunk.
Thought he was done.
So, yeah. So, Joe LaCava stuck with him, stuck through it. And here they are celebrating this amazing win. And, I think the new Tiger versus the old Tiger, they slowed down, lip reading for when Tiger hit the final putt.
Yeah.
And they slowed it down, and Tiger congratulated Joe and said, we won. Not I won, we won. He gave it to his caddy, a guy who carries a bag around and tells him how many yards of which club. So I really, this story rings true for me, because, there's a lot of people out there that are down and out right now. There's a lot of people that probably have made a bet, lost it, or made some stupid decisions and can't come back, or don't think they can come back. I point to you, Tiger Woods.
Sure.
Because it wasn't money that won him the Masters. It was pure effort, pure skill, pure believing in yourself. So anyone out there listening right now to the stupid topic right now, I implore you to do a little research on the comeback of Tiger Woods. I think it's amazing.
And there's no doubt, and people will try to distinguish the man between the man and the athlete, and not want to give him props because of that. I respect him as the athlete. I see how he's turned around a little bit, and the fact that he grabbed his kids and we're hugging on them and loving on them and his mom. And 11 years ago, he was hugging on his dad, and that really kind of got you misty-eyed, I think.
seeing that. And, again, we go back to redemption stories, and there's always that redemption story with everybody. And, cut them a break. I saw a tweet, this week that said, how can you support somebody that cheated on his wife? And the guy, if you clicked on his profile picture, I'm not going to blast him, but he said, number one Trump supporter in the planet. I mean, like, hey, buddy. Yeah. Hey, buddy.
And to break away a little bit, Trump actually did some amazing tweets and, of course, got called out for, for congratulating Trump, which is very interesting. But no, I like I said, hats off to the guy. Yeah. Some guy. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. I mean, it was something special.
Yeah.
It was something, just an amazing story for that weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know who needs to hear that today, but just look towards this story. I mean, he may come back next weekend and suck.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
But he did.
Probably one of the biggest matches of the year. This guy comes, he was right there between sixth and fourth all week, and then just Saturday and Sunday just blew it away.
Yeah, amazing story. If you are in the market for a high-quality cigar for a very reasonable price, you must check out Watchman Cigars. Watchman Cigars is a family-owned business that puts the customer first with the best customer service in the business. Watchman Cigars offers the Habano for a full, spicy flavor, the Connecticut for a mild, easy-to-smoke option, and the Maduro for a strong, powerful experience. They even do specialty blends and partner with you to provide a custom exclusive line just for you. Watchman Cigars has all your cigar needs. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Watchman Cigars 1991 or email Leon directly at Watchman_cigars@yahoo.com. That's Watchman_cigars@yahoo.com. Or check out the sponsors section of our website. All right, so we'll transition to California is getting rid of shampoo bottles in the hotel rooms, introduced by Assemblyman Ash Kalra. They and co-authored by Mark Stone on Assembly Bill 1162, introduced in February, said that we've got an enormous problem in our world. We've become addicted to plastic. It's a major dilemma, but what can we do about it? We can get rid of tiny hotel shampoo bottles. How about you? That's going to save the world and the planet.
Well, first they banned straws.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've seen a lot of restaurants follow suit with that. And anytime I go into a place that doesn't have a straw, I make it my intention to ask for a straw.
Sure.
Just to be that one finger in the eye.
Yeah. And I can even understand restaurants that don't immediately give you straws, and you just ask for the straw, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
But you go to a Mexican restaurant, they make it rain straws like some old guy who just got his pension at a strip club type. I mean, they just make it rain.
California, y'all.
Look, the West Coast is beautiful.
Sure.
But man, they make some stupid decisions.
The idea is that the hardworking police department, the law enforcement community that is not allowed to bust illegal immigrants, they're not allowed to bust drug traffickers, now will be going to hotels and giving them a written warning, and then if they see it again at a hotel, they will give them a $2,000 fine.
It's a great use of tax dollars.
I mean, let's not try to find the axe murderer. Let's try to see if they're
also if Trump follows through on his troll tweet and actually ships undocumented people, aka illegal aliens, to these sanctuary cities, it'll be interesting to see. You'll have floods of people coming in, but you have cops citing hotels for mini shampoo bottles.
How much do you love that tweet, by the way?
You know what? I don't care. I don't care right now. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. But funny, his troll level is 1,000,000% right now. He like in the old video games, you have intermediate, beginner, expert. Right. His is off the charts. I mean, sometimes they're stupid, but sometimes you're like, wow,
nailed it,
unbelievable.
I mean, it's pretty funny.
It is.
Like, I'll give him that.
And how many of these mayors of these cities now that were once AKA sanctuary cities are now saying, "Oh no,
whoa. Back up,
slow your roll,
back up, Prez."
I mean, right here near us, Mecklenburg County. So
back up, Prez.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, Well, I'm going. But the other question I have is, what do they expect you to do? Because you have shampoo bottles, because you forget them, or you don't want the hassle of taking them with you.
Well, I never pack shampoo bottles because I expect
there to be shampoo.
And the price that I'm paying for the hotel room for them to be built-in complimentary items like that.
Well, even worst case scenario, just have them say, "Do you want this when you check in?" or, have them in a bag away from it. So, at least they're an option. But what are you supposed to do? Bring your big bottle of shampoo and then throw that away?
Pump size, Sam's Club size. Yeah.
You're supposed to bring that on the plane?
I guess
that ain't happening.
Yeah. You can only carry
because now you're going to throw it away at the airport.
You can only carry like a half a gram of shampoo or something like that.
Yeah.
Look, California is becoming the most least desirable. And don't get me wrong, New York is running a close second. But California is becoming the most least desirable place for me to ever go back to. And as much as I like restaurants, the scenery, things there, I mean, come on.
Yeah. How about you?
There's really no reason to visit anymore.
No. All right, so we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we have Tim Jones. He is one of the co-hosts of Moonshiners Whiskey Business on the Discovery Channel. I'm excited to have him on, so we'll learn more about Tim when we come back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. We'll be right back. All right, guys, thank you. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. We are back, and on the phone with us, we have Tim Jones. Again, he is the host of Moonshiners Whiskey Business. He is also the creative director of Bourbon Brands and the founder of Gents Original Beverages. So we are really excited to have you on the show, Tim. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Just to preface this, we've already socially lubricated with Buffalo Trace.
Good.
Just to kind of get into the mood. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a Yankee Candle, when you're trying to scent the room get the mood ready for your old lady.
Yeah.
We went ahead and down some Buffalo Trace just to kind of get in the mood. So
well, I'm joining you. I have a glass of it myself.
Awesome. Well, we actually opened the bottle last week. I did not know that Mojo did not have anything in his stomach, and at the last half of the episode, hey buddy, you could hear it coming out.
It'll do that to you, man. It'll do that to you.
So Tim, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up on Moonshiners and how that kind of took place.
Yeah. I'm born and raised here in Kentucky. So, more eastern side of the Kentucky, and but moved around a litended bit after I graduated high school, and just kind of split town for a bit, moved down to South Florida and around, and ended up going back to college and getting back into, design and marketing and that kind of thing, and moved down to Nashville, had a good time down there, decided I, wanted to come back to Kentucky and try to establish myself a bit. Came back and, bourbon is a wonderful thing. So, it was always kind of, I think, part of me, and I always wanted to come back to Kentucky, and maybe in the beginning didn't know why, but I think I found the reason why now, and, been around for a while. And the agency I work at now, Cornet, we have a great portfolio of bourbon brands, and I'm the creative director on those, and have a great relationship with clients and industry folks here in Kentucky, and have just really kind of grown with it. Been doing this for a while again, and Discovery Channel and the production company there, they I guess they found me the old-fashioned Google way. They told me, and said they Googled Kentucky and creative director and bourbons. They were looking for somebody for a show, and me and Matthew McConaughey showed up. All right. And I said, if I fall through, you got a backup plan.
Sure.
But, so they called, and I guess it was just my name had been on a couple things. I'm not in front of the scenes at all. I'm always behind the scenes helping build brands and create things. But I think my name was probably on a couple things. And they found me, reached out to me, called me and said, hey, we got this show and we're looking for a third guy. We have an engineer and we have a distiller, and we need somebody to help come in and tell the story and help with marketing plans and tourism, and, just help these guys out in that area. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And next thing I knew, I was on a plane going down to a shoot and jumping in front of the camera for the first time, really, and just kind of being myself.
That's awesome.
That's a quick download of You know everything now.
Yeah, that's we love hearing about people's stories. That's one thing we tried. It doesn't matter if it's, you or it could be someone that's just a local nobody, like myself. I mean, we
like
love
myself.
Yeah, we love the stories of the average human being, someone that may not someone from New York who has no clue about bourbon may not know about Tim Jones, but you have a unique story that's your own fingerprint or DNA. So we thoroughly enjoy spreading that. So the rise of bourbon, kind of, what is your perception of bourbon has just taken on this almost devout religious cult following in the past, I can't, how many years now? When someone says 1996, I'm like, oh yeah, that's 10 years ago. But right. So I can't even tell you how long this has been, but the cult like following of these small batch bourbons, what do you contribute that to?
Well, there's some historians out there that can really dial in and tell you some accurate stuff here. But for me, a lot of it is, it comes in waves a bit, and we're just kind of getting over a pretty big wave of, we're still feeling it here in the United States of, the Prohibition era. And, I'm not the most historically accurate guy, but when you look back and you see what happened to us during that time, we ended up sourcing a lot of whiskey here in the United States because we were shut down for a long period of time. And, we introduced Scotch, and we were trying to keep up with the taste buds of Americans. And, we were void of it for so long, and vodka made a run and all these things. And, and what happened to us is basically we're just kind of getting our taste back. I think we're taking some pride back in American spirits, and there's some rediscovery there. And some of these brands have done an excellent job to make that happen. There's a lot of great, not just Kentucky distillers, but distillers all across the country. I think there's a lot of really great ones here in Kentucky that's contributed. The Jimmy Russells of the world and the Maker's Marks of the world. They've really put a huge foot forward in bringing bourbon back to the spotlight. And for me, there's just a lot of great American whiskey happening right now, and you can't avoid the cocktail boom. Just recently, I mean, it's a big boom, and rye whiskeys and bourbons are a big part of traditional and classic cocktails.
I think we're rediscovering the classic cocktails also. Absolutely,
and you can't avoid that as well. But for me, it's been a big effort by a lot of people that's been behind the scenes for a long time to bring bourbon back to the top, and I think they're doing a hell of a job. And there's a lot of people passionate about it, and I think you're feeling the effects of it now.
Yeah, we live in North Carolina. We have the ABC stores, and when a new one opens, and I'm not kidding, there was rumors that there was going to be a Pappy that was going to be at this store, and I was the idiot that decided I'm gonna sit out there, and I started at 7:30 the previous evening.
Toys R Us Black Friday.
Yeah, and it was 23 degrees, mind you. And so I'm sitting out here waiting for this one bottle of bourbon. My mother-in-law texted me. She found out, and she's like, "You are insane." It turns out that they didn't have the bottle of Pappy.
No.
And so I was frustrated. But I'm not kidding. By morning time when that store opened, the line was at 100 deep. And the only thing that you could see was E.H. Taylor and Buffalo Trace. And there was a few others that were pretty high end, but nothing super major. But the cult craze is just insane for bourbon, and people are just going in crazy.
It's like the bread lines in Russia.
It really is.
In 1988. So.
Yeah. It's insane. What I love about Moonshiners whiskey business is you're taking those distilleries and really transforming them, and no pun intended on the season time, but you're kind of resurrecting some of these to move them forward, to bring them new life. And what's the feeling like when you can leave there and be like, man, we did a really good job at like Old Nick Williams or Broad Branch Distillery or Three Brothers or Bondurant? Like, you leave there and it's like it's a completely different feel when you go in. That's
the biggest reason I signed on, and I think that was a conversation I had with all the folks involved is like, I really want to make a difference, and everybody on the show wants to make a difference. And being a first timer on something like that, it's like, how much of this is in our hands? Because we have a hell of a team here that can really transform some businesses and brands here, and people and stories, and every single one of them deserve it, and I want to make sure if I'm on this team that I can contribute in the best way I can, and they allowed us to do that. There's always budgets and time. There's, it's just real life. But walking away from each and every one of them, we definitely had an impact on it in a positive way. And with Old Nick, I noticed they posted just the other day, and I've stayed friends with those guys, and they're just great people, hard workers, and they deserve every ounce of success that's coming their way. And they posted, that we really did after the show aired, their sales are really skyrocketing, and the interest is really going through the roof. And again, those guys, they have a bright future. And I believe the same has happened with most. I haven't checked in as much with everyone else, but as far as Old Nick goes, I'm really pleased the friendships I made, and the help, everything I can contribute there. I feel like was well received and put them, in the right direction. So I feel great about it. I feel it's exactly why I'm in this business of helping build brands and help tell people's stories to get it out there. They all deserve it. And I'm super happy to be a part of it.
Just to reiterate, Old Nick Williams, these guys have a storied history of bourbon making here that goes back probably before
it was like one of the first distilleries.
Yeah, probably before my forefathers, jumped off a potato boat from Ireland. So these guys have been here forever, and very humble. I mean, these guys literally put land up, houses up to start this business. You keep mentioning story. How we were just talking about me and Bigham were just talking about this before the show, and how you have. I used to be in the restaurant business, and the common lingo. For example, if you tell someone to go search the internet, you say, "Hey, Google it," or just other brands.
Like soda, like Coke.
Coke, is a common brand. You have brands that take over the identity of the item that you're asking for. So and here in this country, if someone goes to a restaurant, like a high dollar restaurant like Applebee's, so, the common bourbon will be Jack. I'll take a Jack or whatever. You talk about the story. How important is the story for these mom and pop distillers who have this passion to create this supreme prime product, I guess?
Yeah, and let's keep it honest here. Jack is Tennessee whiskey,
right?
But a lot of people do order it and don't know the difference, and
exactly.
I think there's some lesson to be learned there in a lot of ways, just about American whiskey and how far that goes and translates. And anyway, I may have gotten distracted by the Jack Daniels, but no, I think it goes a long way, and a big part of it is, you got to. There's a couple just general things I always sort of preach and ask for, and that's to be, authentic and be real and be yourself. And if you have a story, tell it. It doesn't have to be life changing. It doesn't have to be 250 years old. You just need to make it easy on yourself to talk about it. Talk about yourself a bit. And, when you start adding in a bunch of things that just doesn't feel real and gets a little overhyped, or, you're making stuff up to connect some imaginary dots, consumers will sniff it out. And, sure. In the bourbon world, whiskey world, in today's market, it's people sniff it out pretty quick. And so what I always tell them is just, I can help you sell. And I say this, I think I've said this 15 times, but I really can help you sell that first bottle. And, let's really make sure it's really good. Let's make sure it's good. And then you can sell that second bottle, because we can tell a story. We can put packaging together, and it's all very important. There's no way around great design on a bottle sitting on a shelf in a liquor store. And there's no way to get around, somebody that has a whole bunch of money spending on ad placements and national campaigns. It's a hard thing to beat. And there's a lot of inside things when it happens in spirits business and distribution and things. So it's a tough gig. This is no easy thing to do, launch a brand, especially in spirits. But be authentic, be transparent, tell your story the right way, and partner with people who can guide you. Just because you can make a great product doesn't mean you know how to sell it well. So surround yourself with really great folks, and allow your consumers to tell the story. Every consumer should be an ambassador for you. And, it's very important that they like it and tell their friends. It's very important for that bartender to help tell your story. So you gotta get out there and hustle a bit. It's a tough game.
It blows my mind that just how important this story is now to craft, but also, big names where that story is just bringing people in and building that community instead of just, I'll go get a Coke or, I'll go to Applebee's, whatever. Like it's like that story is really connecting to people. And I wonder, if we attribute it to we're disconnecting as a culture from each other, but something about a story really brings people together.
Well, it gives something for somebody to root for, and that's a big part of a strategy for a brand. It's not the only strategy for a brand, but as a thing, you really want people to root for you. They want, and especially in this the bourbon world, that's why there's a lot of names of people who have been part of the industry. It could be 200 years ago, but there's some sort of connection there, and people really relate to that and give something or somebody something to root for. It's like, hey, I really like this guy's story.
Yeah.
Or, these people, I can really relate to them. I met some of these master distillers.
Yeah.
And holy hell, I'm a huge Wild Turkey fan now because they, I met Harlan Wheatley at a dinner, and he was so great and awesome to me. I'm buying Buffalo Trace. I mean, it's really important. And bourbon is it's a strange thing. It's like rooted in tradition, and that story and person behind it is very important and always has been. So,
yeah. Speaking of bourbons, what are some of the bourbons now that you love personally that nobody's talking about? I saw McKenna 10 years now, like one of the top ones, and that flew off the shelf, and now secondary price for that is $100.
Oh.
What's the one that you love, but nobody's talking about?
That's a tough question because, there's a lot of people talking about Henry McKenna for years. And, there's a lot of people talking about some of my favorites. And it may just because I'm really close, man. I'm in the heart of it right here, bourbon country. These are our, some of these are our secrets that sometimes we cringe a little bit like, oh, hell, that thing won some award in some other state and everybody's going to be buying our supply up.
Right.
You gotta remember it can be a little different here in Kentucky. And, but it's tough for me to say, honestly.
I understand.
When I tell people certain ones, they're like, no shit, or they're just a client of yours. But to be honest, the Weller 107, the hype, it's real. It's a great drink. It's a really great drink, and it's really hard for me to just think of something else that's in that price range. And it's hard to find on the shelf, but let's be real, it's now the highest it's ever been at $50, $50 all day. It's really tough, but there's a lot of great whiskeys in this country, and if I spilled the beans here, I might not be able to find it tomorrow. So I'm
you're right. Okay.
Close to my heart here.
We'll take you off air and then ask you privately. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good. I'll let you guys know.
Sure.
I appreciate that. Let's just be truthful here. I don't think there's any bourbon. I shouldn't say that. Most great bourbons are made here in the South. I know there's a Colorado bourbon. There's, some other bourbons, but has there been anything that's kind of surprised you outside of the Southern region?
Yeah, there is, and I've been real quick to, I'm a Kentucky guy, so I'm quick to stand up for our state. I do believe the best whiskey in the world comes out of Kentucky, anywhere in the world. But yeah, there's obviously things all across this country that always surprise me. And honestly, I'm not a super purist. I really enjoy the oddballs. I like something that's surprises me or challenges me a bit. I think challenges me a bit is a better way to put it, because I've had some things in different area, Kansas City, or some little distillery in, South Dakota, and I'll take a sip or try it, and I'm like, this is not what I'm used to. And it's not that it's young and kind of freaking me out here. It's just, it's challenging me. It's different. It's interesting. It might be finished in something odd. And so I enjoy that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's whiskey all over this country that, is worth to buy a bottle and to pour it with friends and enjoy it. So yeah, there's stuff everywhere. Now the best whiskey and bourbon in the world comes from us.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that limestone shelf, buddy.
That's the reason why Biggin and I are doing a men's trip from our church for a bourbon trail this summer. So
it's worth the trip. It really is. And again, there's I've been a little quick to that answer to answering that question and kind of shut off other states, and I don't mean to do that, but I think we do have a lot of momentum here in Kentucky, a lot of history, a lot of great people making things, and a lot of time's on our side and space is on our side, but I think there's a lot of great things happening in a lot of states.
And all cards on the table. I'm also a Kentucky boy. I was a huge Kentucky fan. My family is in Campbellsville. Went to school at Campbellsville. So when you said home and Kentucky brought you back to home, that's the thing that just blows my mind. My wife is from Georgia, but even now, like we'll say, where's home? And she and I both just call Kentucky home. And there's something about my old Kentucky home that just brings you back to that. And man, I'm grateful that you went back. But I totally relate 100% to being a Kentucky boy.
Well, speaking of this, because I've only been to Kentucky driving through. It's kind of a drive-through state for me for business. So, are you familiar with chocolate gravy?
I am. It's not something I grew up on, but absolutely, I know about chocolate gravy.
Okay.
Anytime you're in Campbellsville, you stop by my grandma's house and she'll fix you up a bunch.
I had a pretty non-traditional Kentucky family in some sorts, and Kentucky gravy wasn't on our menu, but a lot of friends, and I envied them. I envied that chocolate gravy and fried chicken. There was a lot of things that we just didn't have a whole lot of at home, and my mom was a big contributor of that. She enjoys. She's originally from Massachusetts, and so we had a pretty eclectic menu at the house growing up.
How are you going to celebrate the Kentucky Derby coming up?
I'll celebrate it like most of the state, a little further away than at the rail.
Right.
But I'll have a good time. We're all getting excited about it. What we have here in Lexington is Keeneland.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful track, really beautiful track, very different experience than Churchill. And, we run about 4 weeks a year in the spring and in October. And it's an awesome place. So we'll be out there all day Friday enjoying Keeneland and all the things that happen. And then I'll probably just spend time at Keeneland. They put it on the Jumbotron. We just go down by the track and just watch it with friends here locally. Every so often I might, think about going to Churchill and never do.
Yeah, I went to college there and I always wanted to go, and then I just chickened out and never went. So there's that.
It's because you didn't have the derby hat.
I need.
Yeah, I gotta get one of the derby hats. I think my hair would look good with one of those little
things
on the side there. Yeah.
I can hook you up with some church ladies who can hook you up there.
Yeah, I need that, man. I need to hook up on the hats.
Yeah.
No, it's a good time. I mean, I think that's a big draw for me coming back to Kentucky is the beauty of the horse farms and bourbon culture and whiskey culture, and it's a pretty magical time here in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Horses been around forever, bourbon's been here forever, and when you get in the right little corners of the state, it's hard to beat anywhere. It really is.
Absolutely,
it really is. Thunder over Louisville. I mean,
yeah, it's
gotta love that. Yeah. It's fantastic. One question I did want to follow back on, when you were going through the process of Moonshiners, how long did an episode take? Like, it obviously didn't take 30 minutes, and then you got to wait and ferment and all that kind of stuff. So how long did it take to do in a full episode?
Full episodes depend a little bit on timing and what the challenge and the goals were for each distillery. Old Nick took a little time because we extended. I mean, we knocked down the walls, had to put supporting beams in, and those guys are great, really hard workers and just go-getters, man. I really I'm really glad we became friends. But we shoot a lot. There's a lot of footage that gets shot for an episode. It's an hour-long episode with like 42 minutes or so. And so there's a lot. It could span a few weeks. When there's a lot of little, sitting around waiting on things to run. We're fermenting a whole batch. I mean, when we first get there, it's real. I mean, Tim and I and Devin, if he's on the episode, we watch their whole process. We go from milling grain to mashing in to, the whole thing, just to kind of understand what they're doing. And then we got to figure out, and again, a lot of us have lanes in the show, marketing, engineering, distilling, but we're all in there collaborating, and just on camera, we sort of stay in our lanes. But Tim Smith is helping me, talk about stories, and I'm tasting liquor coming off the still and giving him my opinions. And so, not to avoid the question, they're all a little different, and it does take time. I mean, it takes weeks and weeks of shooting and construction, and, mashing in takes time. I mean, it's not a quick process to do a full episode. And a lot of times you end up doing them all at the same time, and the timing works out where it's like, we shot here one week, and then we go shoot here the next week, and then we come back to this place because something's done.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't personally get to spend a whole lot of time, with everyone and all that kind of stuff, but I spend a lot of upfront time and try to figure them out and listen and be a fly on the wall for a few days and try to figure out how I can help.
Yeah. So it was 4 episodes. Are they going to pick that up and do some more?
We hope so. We had really great. It's a really strong start. We did really great as far as ratings. And so we're just kind of waiting on the word. I know we got a whole lot of interest in other distilleries that want us to come. We've got some lined up, and, fingers crossed that things work out and we go help some other folks.
All right, Tim, I'm on change.org right now. What hashtag do you want me to use to save the show? So we start a petition.
Oh, I love that. Whiskey Business Lives.
There we go. All right. Hashtag whiskey Business Lives. There we go. Where do you see the bourbon industry going, for the next few years? Because, Biggin showed us an article earlier about millennials are kind of done with drinking. I guess they've migrated from drinking to Tide Pods, so I'm not exactly sure where this is going. But where do you see the bourbon business going the next few years?
Well, I see it going nowhere for the first time for a few years. This is a long-term roll the dice gamble, and it's a very calculated gamble. So it's not going anywhere for a long time. Bourbon is still a very, very I wouldn't say small, but it's not a Scotch right now. I mean, it's there's a lot of growth in the bourbon world, and people may move on from it, but there's a whole lot of new drinkers in the world that haven't discovered bourbon yet.
That's true.
And from everything I've read and heard from people that are a lot smarter than me, it's not slowing down anytime soon at all. And, we can't avoid the international market. That's a big one. It's still it's a very small spirit. If you travel internationally, normally you go to, somewhere internationally, you might see Jack and Jim and a couple others, but that's it, and they're usually on the side of the bar. And there's a whole lot of work to do there. And that's a big opportunity for the United States when it comes to American spirits and bourbon. So there's a lot, there's a whole lot of juice coming. I think the next 5 years, holy crap, all these brands you love and can't find, get ready. I mean, they're 10 years ago, they didn't expect this. And so there is a shortage. But just, not too long ago, they started laying down a whole lot of barrels.
Right.
I think the last thing I heard, we have 2.5 times more barrels of bourbon and whiskey here in Kentucky than we do people.
Wow.
So there's a lot of barrels in this state and elsewhere. So there's going to be hopefully people who love certain brands that are hard to find are going to be happy sooner rather than later. And then we'll just keep moving bourbon forward.
So bourbon is like as American as apple pie and baseball.
Oh yeah, man! It's it's American spirit. Yeah. I mean, it's everything America is. It's independent spirit. It is. It encompasses a lot of things that Americans and America is built on.
Yeah. Can we plug the Gents original beverage? Can we talk about that? I mean, Can you explain what that is? I looked online and Googled it. Sure. Man, that looks like some really good stuff.
Well, I appreciate it. So, yeah, I started a small company back in 2014. And, it's something that, I started, it was basically craft sodas and cocktail syrups. And, we've had some change and some, we've morphed into whatever we can handle and just sort of been slow and steady on how this company's going. But yeah, we make craft cocktail syrups. That's our main thing now. And they're basically, we make old fashioned mixes and some people think that's very simple, but what we do is we try to make it really easy on home bars, or we make different syrups for bars in bulk. If they have a recipe or something that they just have to make a ton every day, they can contract with us and we'll make it in bulk. Okay. We supply a lot of distilleries with mule mixes or custom mixes, anything like that. That's kind of our bread and butter right now is, if there's a distillery that needs a julep mix this time of year, we'll make it in bulk and custom package it for them and things like that. So we had some really amazing craft sodas for a while, and we had hit kind of a growth spurt. And but we had some really, really awesome stuff, and we'll get back into that eventually. But had some really successful craft soda flavors, and
nice.
It's all fresh. We make it all right here in Kentucky. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it keeps me on both sides of the cocktail industry and, selling, I enjoy having my own product and
right.
Messing with flavors and all that kind of stuff, just getting really creative with it. So yeah, it's something I built from the ground up and created out of a idea, and it's growing, and we've gotten some really great orders just this last few months that I'm really proud of. So we're in several distilleries from Buffalo Trace to Elijah Craig and Heaven Hill and all those guys and Willett. And there's several really awesome partners on our list. So proud of those.
And can you pick those up like at Liquor Barn or those places too?
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, we've Liquor Barn carries us. Whole Foods picked us up. I think they're kind of just getting started on stocking. But most of the major distilleries here in Kentucky, you can find our products. So yeah, usually they sell an old fashioned, a mule, and a julep. Those are usually the three you see. Mm-hmm. But if it's a mix at one of those distilleries, there's a good chance we made it.
Okay, cool. Well, when we're on their tour, we'll be sure to take a look and pick some up.
Yeah, please do.
Awesome.
Oh, Tim, we really appreciate you coming on tonight, and we don't want to keep you past your bedtime because I know you're a busy man. So we do a little segment here on the show called 10 and 1, and it's your life kind of basically depends on it.
Okay. Oh, shit. Okay.
We're going to ask you 10 questions and see if you can get them in under a minute. Would you be willing to play?
You're kidding me. You're going to test me?
Yep. Yeah. This is kind of like, this is serious. It's like SAT, ACT level things. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to go to work tomorrow.
I'll tell you, man, I haven't been nervous all day, and all of a sudden I'm sitting up straight. I'm paying attention.
It's like me dealing with my 15-year-old's math work right now. That's how tense it is.
How nervous you are.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm really horrible with trivia or names or dates or
this
music.
This is not the game for you. We'll go ahead and give you an automatic 0.
No, that's not the case. I'll give you the first question.
Oh, I'm going to be bad at this.
No,
I'm telling you.
You're not going to be bad. The first question is, do you prefer moonshine or moon pies?
I like this. Okay, I can do this.
Okay, all right.
I definitely prefer moonshine.
Okay, all right.
I like the moonshine. Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are you that Kentucky lost in the tournament?
12.
Kentucky hot brown, yeah or nah?
Depends. I'm kind of a non-traditionalist. I don't eat a whole lot of them. So honestly, for me, I would say nay.
Okay. The first bourbon you ever drank?
Wild Turkey, for sure.
What do you put on a biscuit?
I love blackberry jam, man. I love blackberries.
Do you ever get confused with Chris Stapleton?
Way more than anybody would ever believe me, man. You would not believe it. If I wore a hat,
Right.
It'd be done.
I could sign autographs. It's unreal. I've had drinks paid for. I mean, it's really funny. I've got a real funny story that it's funny. I just walk around and I tell people I'm his cousin. They call me Rick Stapleton here in Lexington.
That's great. The next question.
Just sing Tennessee whiskey. Just Tennessee whiskey. That's all I gotta do.
Yeah, I got to learn how to sing and shit like that, I guess.
You'd be good to go. The next question, name drop. Who's the most famous person you have in your phone?
I don't have many famous people, man. I don't know. I don't know who's in my phone. I mean, I'm friends with this fella called Jack Maxwell. He was a booze traveler on Travel Channel. I like that guy. He's a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there you go.
I like that guy.
If you could vacation anywhere right now, where would you go?
Anywhere right now, I'm thinking about the weather. I love to fish down in Key West. I love, the Keys. I like to fish out there, bonefish and tarpon fish. So, right now, I just got back from Hawaii, so I think I'd go down the Keys and do a little fishing.
All right. Next question is, can I have a double Eagle Rare decanter?
Yeah, as long as it's empty. I got one for you.
Hey, I'll take that all day, every day.
I love those things. Those are nice, but
man.
I got a couple empty ones, yeah.
I'll take it if you got it. The last question is, what is your spirit food? Everybody has a spirit animal. What is your spirit food?
My spirit food, it's funny. I mean, I do like pizza, but that's kind of cliche. This is going to sound real weird, man. I like beets. I like beets.
You're the first beets we've ever had.
I know. And I like pickled beets. I like beets it's crazy. I really like beets, but that's going to sound really strange coming from me, but I like beets.
All right.
I like beets. I like pizza, but I like beets more, I think.
We're going to give you beets. That's fantastic. Never thought I would have heard that today.
You got a 12 out of 10 for originality there. So.
There you go. That's the only thing. I probably never had a beet. I was just trying to think of something I never.
Tim, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any social media that you'd like to brag about or whatever that people can follow?
I'm real easy. Tim Jones Creative on Instagram. I changed it to Tim Jones Creative on Instagram. And then, Gents Original or on Instagram as well, if you want to keep up with that little company. And but Tim Jones Creative on Instagram, that's the easiest thing to see what I'm up to and where I am. We've got some neat video shoots. We're doing some brand films starting in the morning for a really great brand. And, we'll be bouncing around all year. We've got some neat stuff coming up. So check it out.
Yeah. Don't forget to go to change.org too.
Hashtag Whiskey Business Lives.
Absolutely. Whiskey Business What was it?
Whiskey Business Lives.
Yeah, lives. That's better. Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim. We appreciate it. Man, we really appreciate Tim Jones coming on the show. I know you had a kind of little bromance going on before the show. That's okay, though. We all have our heroes.
I mean, this is, to me, like, he's connected with Buffalo Trace, and that is like the epicenter.
Well, bourbon flows through your veins.
Yeah, it does. Like
Kentucky pride. So I totally get it.
I love Kentucky. My heart is always in Kentucky. If I need a blood transfusion, generally we'll go with sausage gravy, but bourbon will also work as a quick.
I could see that. That'd be interesting. Hold on, Doc.
I've got the Buffalo Trace. Here we go.
I just got back from the ABC store, even though we have a limit on here in North Carolina. No, hey, we appreciate you listening as always. Please go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much any other podcast app that you listen to. Go to Southern Fried Philosophy, give us a like, a heart, a subscribe. Please give us a review. We really appreciate that. You can also go to our website, southernfriedphilosophy.com, youtube.com/SFP radio.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Hey, just a couple of things I want to put in your head. We have an event coming up May 3rd at Red Hill Brewery. We have Jawan Cap. He will be there. So we'll just putting that in your ear. So mark your calendar May 3rd and we'll have some more information on that. And next week we have our special guest, Patrick Lilly, musician here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Tim Jones. We appreciate it. And as always, keep looking up.